Like, sir, to get to you, they gotta get through me. And I interfere
I gave mine.
First of all, we want to thank each of you for coming out to this press conference as we respond to the issue that has taken place with Officer Humphrey, and we felt that there's a great need for the community to respond to the actions that have taken place by Officer Humphrey in relationship to the 12-year-old young lady, as well as the representatives from the union. And so I'm delighted at this time as Vice President of the Abana Minister Alliance, the Reverend Dr. Leroy Haynes, to introduce our President, who will come forth at this time and present the press statement. Dr. T. Allen Belter, let's give him a hand.
Thank you, Vice President Haynes. The Albina Minister Alliance is the largest ecumenical body of churches and ministers in the North and Northeast communities of Portland. The AMA has served as a prophetic voice for justice and equality for over 50 years in the Portland Metroplex. Our alliance has engaged the Portland Police Bureau and the criminal justice system for justice in the Kendra James, Jose Mejia Poot, Jahar Perez, and the James Chassie cases. Today we stand with the citizens and churches throughout the city of Portland in addressing the excessive use of force by Officer Chris Humphreys and the arrest of a 12-year-old girl who allegedly struck Officer Aaron Dalchi. We stand in solidarity with Commissioner Dan Salzman in placing Officer Humphreys on paid leave. Although the 12-year-old girl allegedly resisted the arresting officer, the close-range use of a shotgun with a beanbag was excessive and unnecessary use of extreme force. However, we believe and we strongly encourage all citizens to obey the law. Secondly, we believe Officer Humphrey's judgment in the recent James Chassie death, as well as other cases, demonstrate his inability to make reasonable judgments as a police officer.
Right.
Third, we support civilian rule over the Portland Police Bureau with our elected commissioners and appointed chief of police. Finally, we stand on the steps of the Justice Center. We are reminded of the words of the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., words which are inscribed on the building behind us. We believe that with him, that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We call upon our elected officials, Chief of Police, to conduct a thorough investigation of this case seeking justice and a quick resolve.
Yes.
We further call upon the citizens of Portland, as well as those Portland police officers who support this, to strive for community policing in expectation of true accountability and justice for both citizens and officers.
That's right.
At this time, Dr. Reverend Bishop A.A. Wells.
Thank you, sir.
As our president said, we're in strong support of the actions taken by Commissioner Salzman. We think it was done immediately and the right actions taken, even though an investigation is ultimately necessary to come to the right result. You like to think that our police does not have to be policed by the citizen. It's the same as if we had to have inspectors be inspected. But when we have the union come forward, as they have, and circle this officer who seems to have poor judgment, and now a number of cases, repeatedly, it seems that something has to be said different about how they respond to their officers. We know we have a number of police officers that go to work every day and do an exemplary job, and we appreciate and applaud all of those officers that do as such.
Yes, we do.
But when we have those officers who are poor in judgment and fall beyond the pale of what should be reasonably expected, and then to have the union to come around them and support them as though no matter what you do, it's okay, that is very disturbing, and we are here to say it's unacceptable. Our citizens, we encourage them, as our president has said, to be law-abiding, to be supportive of the officers, to follow their instructions when they give instructions, to not be violent in any way. But by the same token, when officers who are peace officers and public safety officials intervene, we don't want to see them make things matters worse, even though you have infractions on the part of citizens. We call upon the parents to be more vigilant over their children, and the churches stand forward to be supportive of our families. Thank you.
Amen. Now at this time we will present Dr. Harding of Holland Christian Center. Let's go come forward at this time.
Thank you, Vice President Dr. Haynes. It's a good day and a sad day in Portland. When we take a look at what is taking place and we think we've come a long ways, and when we read on the surface the issues and the facts of this particular incident, there's a deeper story that must be told. When we consider that this young lady had been excluded from riding on the rail due to fare evasion, you have to stop and consider those who are saying she shouldn't have even been there in the first place. I want you to stop and think, as a result of gentrification, you had a whole community that has been dislocated and moved to the suburbs, while the services oftentimes that they're used to and accustomed to, the Boys and Girls Club, are in inner Northeast Portland. So when these youth have to travel all the way in to have a sense of community, it's easy for them to come into the city and use their money unwisely to buy chips or whatever, and then get on the train and ride back home. The price of fares have gone up, the economy is bad. For whatever reasons, young people don't always have the monies nor the parents. Now a young lady has been excluded, she's riding on the train, and now we further victimize her by saying she shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Yes, sir.
We need to stop and think about the ramifications and the domino effect of gentrification and what it has caused. Although the AMA strongly stands, as the President has said, and we do agree that the person should be civil and that we do have laws to abide by, but there is a proper way to respond to incidents of this nature.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Amen. At this time we will take any questions. Okay.
How do you think the officers could have better handled the situation?
The question was, how do we think officers could have better handled the situation? One, officers are trained to de-escalate the violence instead of escalate the violence.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that we made sure of coming out of the Kendrick James case, because Kendrick James was killed because of the escalation of a violence. A traffic stop ended up being a killing of a young lady, and the officers moved from one level of violence to another level of violence. We believe with 2 officers, and some say 3, that are there, they should have been able to arrest a 12-year-old girl, even though they say she weighs 150 pounds.
A child.
That is their profession. They are trained to do that. And the violence escalated. We believe that there was an excessive use of violence